Oh my goodness gracious me, welcome to Integration Week. Thank goodness, right? Oh my god, who else has felt like, oh, that's better, oh my goodness, right? Oh my goodness, oh my gosh, that's kind of how it feels to me. I'm curious how it feels to you as we step into this beautiful space of Integration Week. It just feels like a relief. Like, tell me, give me some love hearts if it feels like a relief for you so far, or if you're still like right now, right? Yes, it's like a breath of fresh air. It's like, oh, move down through, come out, we burst. It's like we burst. Thank God for that. Thank goodness for that, right? All right. So I didn't even post the integration start, and I didn't even, like, I'm a little bit early, I'm not on time. And I realized I've like put all these like restrictions and rules and just stuff on myself, and I was just like, oh my God, can I just be free now? Hey Joanne, all right, awesome. Let me know how you guys are feeling. All right, let me share this as always. And like, how beautiful is this space, right? Oh my goodness. Hey Matthew. All right, let me, all these restrictions and rules on myself, oh my goodness me. So if you've been feeling like a little bit like, I don't know if stuck is the word, or maybe it is, like stuck, or just like what's going on, or you know, like you can't figure things out, like I ask you to reflect on yourself and ask yourself, like, what rules and restrictions have I put on myself? What rules am I imposing on myself? Like, it's a really big deal, right? When we are trying to look for the answer, and the answer is actually the limitations, the rules, the belief systems that we put on our own self, yeah? So, share this. What's that? Yeah, yes, I think we share. Yes, free flow share. Thank you. Oh, look at that, even that's flowing. Everything's flowing again. Oh my goodness, so exciting. Okay, hang on. Okay, as always, I'm trusting if it's too windy, you guys will let me know. Okay. Okay. Yay, you're here. You're here. Okay, I'm just going to check this. I meant to check this before I jumped on live and I forgot. It's like really important, this thing that I need to tell you guys, right? Because, all right, awesome. Because I'm like sweating already. I'm sweating already. And it's only, what is it, the fourth day of spring here, and we've already hit, well, apparently it's supposed to be like 28 and 30 degrees Celsius, which is like, you know, 82 Fahrenheit. I was just checking the like conversion. So here's the conversion for you guys that are not in the Southern Hemisphere. So, hi Abby, awesome. Thanks for joining live, guys. Okay, here we are at integration. So, what is integration? What does it even mean? And what is it about? So a lot of people are like, oh, I haven't heard of a ninth chakra. And it's not really a ninth chakra. And as I always say, there's not 8, there's not 7, there's not 8, there's not 9, there's not 13. There's, you know, like there is a limitless number of chakras. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it is not like it's just one little, like, you know, system. Like, it is a very complex, in-depth system that I don't think anybody could really possibly bring. This is the system to Earth. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it is a guideline for a starting point to a sense of awakening for whatever is needed for you. And this is what I always say about, you know, like, trust your intuition over what I'm saying. Like, trust your intuition over what you hear. Trust your intuition over what somebody else says to you, or whatever book you read, or, you know, like, trust your intuition about what you're intuitively sensing your chakra systems are, and your chakra systems look like or feel like or expand into like that is like so important. And I think a lot of people like, and this is so interesting, right? The thing that I just started talking about is like the rules and restrictions and belief systems that we've kind of like constructed over ourselves. And when we allow ourselves to live into that construction of like belief system stuff, right? That's where we get depressed, closed down, shut down. We forget who we are. We're like looking for everything outside of us to give us the answers. Like we forget who we are. We like put all these rules and restrictions on ourselves. Hey Hector, hey Marina. So when we look at like integration is, and this is, you know, if you've worked with me before, I'm like, here, do this, this, and this, and this, and then have a day off. Reality breaks are so important, right? And it's like reality breaks or spirituality breaks? Both, right? I can speak about this firsthand because I went from drug addiction into spirituality, and spirituality, yes, it saved me, but it also became an addiction. It also was jumping from one thing to another and then look like underneath, right? It's like looking at, like anything can become an addiction. Anything can become an avoidance mechanism. But then, as I always say, all these things, belief systems, all these constructs of what we've like created over our own reality is a support mechanism for our survival from a certain aspect of our being that was taught something or learnt to survive in some way, shape or form in that moment. And instead of like remembering who we really are and what brings our heart alive, we've brought that system to the present day. And if we're not conscious of shifting the beliefs, the constructs of our reality, the systems and the beliefs, like if we're not, and this isn't something we do just, yeah, we've done that. Oh yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did that in like 2006. Yeah. It's like, but what about yesterday? But what about today? What about every single day? The thing about shifting our reality and awakening your life purpose and awakening the consciousness and like becoming who you are and finding your purpose and doing what you're here to do on earth, if we're not consciously working on this stuff around shifting the constructs and the belief systems and the layers upon layers that we've like absorbed from all the people around us all the time, we are not consciously doing that every single day, we're going to feel lost. We're going to feel like don't know who we are anymore. Now when I talk about having integration is we've just come through 8 weeks of like consistent, this awareness of our crown, this awareness of our third eye, this awareness of our ears, this awareness of our throat, this awareness of our heart, this awareness of our solar plexus, this awareness of our sacral, this awareness of our base. And we're like, oh, can I have a break now? Can I have a break now? Probably was saying that several weeks ago, right? I'm done. It's too much. It is important to integrate what we've learned. Maybe that's why there's go to school and then there's holidays. Maybe that's why. We learn a chunk and then we need to breathe out. We breathe in and then we have to breathe out. It's so important. Hey Richard! Hey Christina! That was meant to be envious. What did you say? Your view is so much nicer than mine at work. Solo envious. It is so important to remember that this is stuff that we do every single day. And it's, again, it comes into that sense where people are like, oh yeah, I do that. And I'm like, well, how often do you do it? Oh yeah, I do it like occasionally. It's like, well, how old are you? Like, oh, 35 or 50. It's like, well, how long have you been doing it for? Oh yeah, a few years. like, well, you've got 50 years to unravel that, or you've got that, and now it doesn't have to take another 50 years to get somewhere, but just look at that of like when you're feeling worn out, when you want to give up, when you've had enough. When you get to that point of I've had enough, I can't do this anymore, nothing's working. Like when we get to that point, it's that we've grown into and we've grown out of the current space that yes, something needs to shift. Something needs to shift. We can, if we're continually growing and evolving and stuff, like everything is cyclic. Everything cycles, day, night cycles. Yeah, they're the same, but every day is different. But I said like that change is the only thing that's constant. So when we're enabling ourselves to, you know, people say, go with the flow, it'll be fine, just do whatever. And then it's kind of like there's the extremes of going with the flow and then being so rigid and stuck. Now what's really important when we get to integration is that we come into a sense of the extremes. At integration week, it is like we've just come through crown, third eye, ears, throat. Yeah, ears, throat. Are you listening? Yes, I'm listening. Ears, throat, right? We come into that space. We come into that space. Are we listening? We're listening. I got to the ears then. And do you know what? It's so interesting because I was trying to say last week on base chakra, right? And it's so funny because I was like, this is the last time I'm doing a chakra journey. Like, I've been going through so much shit, right? You guys have seen it. I've been sharing it. And I was trying to say last week, and I don't think I got it out, is that every time you do a chakra journey, it is like, you know, the first time you go through it, you're mainly working in the crown. The second time you go through a chakra journey, you're mainly working with the third eye. The third time you go through the chakra journey, you're mainly working in the ears. The fourth time you go through a chakra journey, you're mainly working with the throat. The fifth time you go through, you're mainly working with the heart. Does that make sense? So every time you're going through an entire chakra journey, you're working on the next chakra down, the next chakra down, the next chakra down. Even though we're working on, you know, the crown is here and the third eye is here and like that, but mainly we're working on the crown. So say if this is the first time you're working through the chakra journey, this is like as we go through crown, third eye, ears, throat, heart, solar plexus, sacral, and base. Now this might answer a lot of questions for you guys who have done this chakra journey with me several times, is that as you're going through, like, so for the first time we're working on the crown. And so even though you're working on the crown, you're working on how the crown relates to the crown. You're working on how the crown relates to the third eye. You're working on how the crown relates to the ears. You're working on how the crown relates to the throat. You're working on how the crown relates to the heart. You're working on how the crown relates. Does that make sense? Yeah? We keep going down. Now what does that mean? This means, say for example, like I said, that it's your thinking reality, right? A crown is our connection. Please tell me if that's too windy because the wind's just all of a sudden picked up. You're working on the crown, and how you're thinking reality is how you think. It might be in a very negative space. It's showing you, right? Mindset. Crown related to third eye. How you're thinking about your relationships. Your crown, how you're thinking about your reality. Are you even listening to others? Are you hearing anything? Your thinking reality around your truth. Are you even conscious of your truth? Do you even know what that is? Your thinking reality around your heart. How do you even feel about your heart? Do you even know what your heart feels like anymore? Is there any joy left in your life anymore? Like, how do you feel about love? Right? Your crown, how you're thinking about your personal power. Do you feel comfortable in your personal power? Are you even aware of where you're giving the power away? Your thinking reality around your sacral. Around how you even nourish yourself. Are you even conscious? Are you conscious of what you are absorbing in your reality? Whether it's energetically, spiritually, like what are you eating? Like, even are you even conscious of that? Your crown chakra around your base. Are you even conscious about your physical surroundings? Do you know every nook and cranny in your environment where you live and your energetic reality around the space that you're in? I teach this in Trust and Intuition. It's like, are you that conscious of your reality around how much you sense energy? And how conscious are you of that most of the time? Right? Okay, screen's going dark. I hope it's getting hot. Fully get what you mean. Yes, Shane, awesome. Thanks, Stephen. Now at integration, on integration week, this is where I asked the other day, I'm like, we're starting to move into integration week. Which chakra is more in your awareness? Sometimes on integration week, it can feel like a relief, or it can feel worse than any other week you've had. Why? Because that is the chakra that is coming into your deep awareness around, this is the one that needs most support. This is the one that is calling your attention. Yeah? When we're on integration week, this is the space where we really look at what we're being shown. Yes, there can be a big release. Yes, there can be like coming into your awareness of self and understanding, like, you know, what's going on in your reality. It's like, oh, you've gone through and had this level of awareness, and then we're like, oh, sweet, now I'm clear. For me personally, and I feel like there's actually a lot of people actually, so I'm going to share what's been going on for me and trusting that this is going to help somebody, I guess, right? I've been questioning what I'm doing. I think when it hit base chakra, I was just like, why am I even doing this spiritual stuff anymore? It's like, my purpose is to awaken the consciousness of humanity. And in 3 years of coming online, it's everywhere. There's so many people, and it's becoming more normal. And what did I always say when I first came online? If you're not doing this stuff in 5 years' time, you're gonna get left behind. Oh, well, that was 3 years ago. Now look at the world. Coming into what we're meant to do here. The world is awakening. The world is shifting rapidly. So many people come to me and say, what is my purpose? What is my soul's purpose? You're the life purpose queen. Tell me what my purpose is. And I'm like, honey, I don't tell people what their purposes are. If you've ever worked with me, you'll find that I don't tell you to do much at all. I'm like, here, do this, and then tell me what comes through for you. I give you the tools to help clear out all the shit so you can get clear on what your intuition is guiding you to do. I help you get clear on what's going on in your reality so that you can make choices that are in alignment for you, because most people don't make choices that are in alignment for them. They're doing something because they think they have to do that to be good enough. They're doing something because someone else told them to. They're looking for answers outside themselves. I don't tell you what your purpose is, because that isn't my purpose. My purpose is to help you become conscious of your reality so that you can come into what that is for you. That's not for me to discover. That's for you to discover. That's for you to become super conscious and clear within yourself. That's my gift to you, is to help you become clear. Clear of all the shit, clear of all the trauma, clear of all the hurt, clear of all the pain. The stuff that most people don't want to deal with, most of the time, right? It's not up to me to tell you what to do. This is like something I would not do, right? So if you want somebody to tell you what your purpose is, I'm not the healer for you, okay? Because it's not what I do. All right, what else wants to come through about integration? Okay, so in integration, okay, we look at the extremes of the chakras. There's always a contraction and expansion going on the planet in any given shape and time, in any moment in time. There is this, like, it is like this, it is, I don't know, it's not like a rubber band, but it's a band width. Yeah, this came through really strongly the other day. Hey, Tammy from California, welcome to Australia. So, I know, wait, you've been here before on my live stream. There is, please tell me if it's too windy. I'm like, where's this wind coming from? But it's a westerly, so it's coming straight from there is a bandwidth, right? Now, I always talk about the different vibrations and energy of, like happiness and sadness. And there's a vibrational scale. Abraham Hicks talks about this. There's a vibrational scale of energy between happiness and sadness, and there's all these different emotions. There's all these different vibrational frequencies of every single emotion between happiness and sadness, right? Now, in that space, it's like really coming in. I'm gonna shift in a minute. That wind is gonna like be too noisy. Is it too noisy? Please tell me it's not too noisy. So this vibrational scale, not too windy. Okay, awesome. I was like worried about it. Okay. So there's a vibrational scale and there's the bandwidth, right? And like in music, for example, or when we're talking about vibrational frequency, for so long I've known, and anybody who gets into the spiritual stuff would possibly know that everything is energy. When we look at quantum physics, everything boils down to, even in science class in school, which I never fucking remembered anyway, it's like everything is made up of atoms. Yeah, even the air is a vibrational density, and it's like looking at like our vibration and our physical being. So our physical being is a certain density and vibration. And when we look at shifting our vibration, like the purpose of awakening is that our vibration starts to shift, right? Our vibration starts to shift. Hey, Mana. Our vibration shifts and we become lighter. Now, as I always say in the crown chakra, most of the time, it's like beautiful for a moment, and then all of a sudden, all the dark stuff comes up, all the heavy stuff, because we've been unconscious to that reality. We've been unconscious to that vibration. When we look at it all in a vibrational energy sense, we can tune in to any frequency. When we are meditating, we're tuning into a specific vibration. Somebody who meditates frequently, you feel that in their vibration, you feel their energy. Like you can sense that within a person. They've got a different vibrational frequency to someone who doesn't meditate every day. You guys can feel that. Give me some love hearts or give me a yes, whether you can feel that. If you go to even a yoga class or you sense people online, like you can feel their vibrational frequency. You're drawn to it or you're not. There's a certain vibrational frequency, and the message I was getting the other day about the bandwidth is that the bandwidth on Earth, the bandwidth of reality is stretching. It's expanding. There's an expansion and a contraction happening all the time on the planet. Expansion is open, it's light, it's bright, it's beautiful. And contraction is dark, it's a yin, right? Whereas this is yang, it's open, it's masculine, it's moving. Yin is closed, it's like an empty hole, it's dark, it's moldy. Expansion and light, right? And that's going on the planet every single moment in time. We breathe in, we breathe out. People are like the key aspects of expansion and contraction. You're breathing in and you're breathing out. Every single time there's a contraction and expansion. There's a contraction and an expansion with the day and night. This is an expansion, we come alive again. Nighttime we sleep. And on the planet there's a delicate balance where that is happening at every single moment of the day. So when we look at coming into integration, we're becoming conscious that there is an expansion and a contraction happening at any given moment in time. Now, when you work with these cycles and the cyclic flow of the moon or the earth as well, like, you know what I mean? Like when you combine these natural cycles and come back to your true natural cycle of self, of your awareness of everything that you do in life, when you look at it as a contraction and an expansion, you can really see where you are on the bandwidth of creation. Right? there's a darkness and a light all the time. For myself, I've realized that I've been here. I've been here for a little while and I'm done with the contraction. I'm ready to expand again. And it's so interesting to me that recently, and it's like coming through like this chakra journey and then hitting like base chakra and integration, I'm like, where's my joy? Where's Hannah gone? Where is her light gone? Been in the contraction and the darkness, and there's cycles, right? There is cycles of day, night, we go to sleep, we wake up. There's cycles of your life. There's periods of time where you're more in contraction and you're more in expansion. From certain ages in your life, 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, like they're specific ages. Age developmental cycles where we're in contraction, expansion, like all through our time. And when we become conscious of where we are in the cyclic form of where we are in life, we can work with these cycles instead of thinking, oh, something's wrong with me, oh, I don't know, I feel lost, or I don't know what's going on, or nothing's shifting, or I feel stagnant. And just when we're about to break through into another cycle, that is when it's the hardest part, when we're birthing out, physical birth of a baby, a butterfly breaking out of a cocoon, a chicken breaking out of an egg, a bird breaking out of an egg, and then it can fly free. But that period of time where we're trying to break out and we're like, I don't understand what's going on. It's like this sense where we're breaking out. It's like when we can remember that the darkness before the dawn is this space. The seed pops out of the flower. The lotus flower comes up through the mud. Everybody knows these analogies, but everybody forgets them in their day-to-day reality. When we look at integration and we become conscious of which chakra is in that expansion or in that expansion or contraction at any given moment in time, we can work with it. We have an awareness, and you know, as I always say, like this is more, is it feminine, masculine, feminine, masculine, feminine, masculine, feminine, masculine. Yes, they both have feminine and masculine within them, but they hold a certain vibration of more one or the other. Why? Because there's an inflow and there's an outflow and there's an inflow and there's an outflow. It is the natural rhythm and cycle of life. So when you're looking to create stability in your life, when you're looking to feel supported in your life, we then flip around to where we're focusing on in our everyday life. Are we focusing on the expansion or are we focusing on the contraction? Are we focusing on the light or are we focusing on the dark? Are we focusing on the positive or are we focusing on the negative? Now, you guys always know that I'm all about not denying the darkness, not slapping a positive thought over the negative. You know that. But when you look at the negative and the positive and the contraction and the expansion on an everyday scale, where are you sitting majority of the time? Where are you sitting majority of the time in majority of your day? If during the day you're exhausted, you're tired, you're negative, you're in this space, it is your duty as a soul, as a being, to work to expand back into the light. Every day we go to sleep and we are born again every single day. Every day we have a chance at a new reality. But if we choose to stay here for majority of our day, this is what we will experience. The contraction, the stuckness, the hard, the not supported, the all of that. Now, from getting from here to here, is it easy? No. Does it get easier? Yes. When we have an awakening, we're like, yes! And then we start to feel all the stuff we've buried. And it's the balance and the choice. It's the choice to, yes, face and heal and shift. When we do, that becomes lighter. So instead of being a limitless, potless hole, endless hole, it actually starts to feel like manageable, of a balance of a reality of like contraction, expansion. We start to, instead of being in it, and we're like, oh my God, this is so bad, and oh my God, it's amazing, and oh my God, this is so bad, and oh my God, it's amazing. Instead of being in the bandwidth, we become the bandwidth. Instead of being affected by the bandwidth, we're able to experience the bandwidth. Oh, the contraction, the light, the expansion, the contraction, the breath. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yes, yes, yes. Who's that? Serena! Been a beautiful summer. Hope yours was great. Oh, well, we're just stepping into summer, actually. This is our 4th day of spring, and it is a beautiful, almost 30 degrees. It's like at 80 to 85 Fahrenheit. I just looked at that. Getting my conversions about the, like, you know, we're moving into spring and you guys are moving into autumn, and like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's this constant contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion. So when you see people online and you're like, oh my God, they're living an amazing life, and why am I so in this space? Like, check, is it winter? Do I need to hibernate? Is this my internal space? Where are they in the world? And look at their amazing life. How can I be in more expansion? Do I need to create a reality where I can chase the summers around the world and always be in that expansion and know that when I sleep, that is my contraction? Yeah? Yeah, so much sense. Awesome. I missed the expansion contraction example. You missed it? What do you mean? Do you have to watch it again? Watch it again. Within each chakra, there is an expansion and a contraction. If you are trying to figure out what is going on in your reality, what is happening, something's going on here, right? And if you're not sure what that is, check in and just ask a simple question. Am I in expansion or am I in contraction? Right? And this is where it's like looking at all these things in your reality, and sometimes it can be really overwhelming, right? And that's why I guide people with processes and tools, like to have a checklist. Number one, like, you know, have I had enough sleep? Have I had enough contraction time for the expansion that I've been working on? Has there been enough of like moving through what I need to move through, or am I still moving through it and that's why it feels like sludge? Can I be okay that that's where I am? Or am I judging myself that I'm not somewhere else right now? Why am I wanting to be somewhere else right now? Because actually I'm not wanting to face the reality of what's going on because it's so damn dark. That's when we have a reality check around how am I feeling supported, how am I not feeling supported, how do I shift this, what is going on in this contraction space that I need to shift and become aware of so that it moves me through. Remember, am I about to break through? Because the hardest part is before we break through. We want to give up before we break through. A birthing mother wants to give up, gives up before the baby just comes through every single time. The coldest part of the night is just before the dawn. Yeah? A phone call entered. Yes, I gave myself this year to do the work. Yes, awesome, awesome. That's where it's coming into that space of like checking in, where am I? If you're just starting to change your life and starting to shift out of a reality that you've been living for 30, 40, 50 years, and you're 6 months in, you're 20 months in, you're 2 years in, you're 5 years in. Look at that 5 years compared to the 50-year on the scale, right? Remember, contraction, expansion, right? When we look at that age scale, this is tiny birthing of a new reality. That newborn baby has only just come out, even if you've been doing it for 5 years. Right? And when you look at that and you move into that further, you're like, oh, then this becomes bigger. Does that make sense? When you're trying to birth a reality, and if you've been doing something for 20 years, obviously what you're doing is not the right system for you. Moving into shifting out, shifting out, shifting out, shifting your environment. Who are you hanging around? Who are you listening to? Sometimes the tools need to change. You need to put yourself into very uncomfortable situations to break through. All right, does anyone have any questions about integration? We have the support of our guides and angels if we ask. We sure do. Now I've got to be able to receive it. The hardest part is the receiving. Learn to not do so much, I think. Let go, but give in a good way, not an abusive way. Yes. This is so relevant. Your words are brilliant. Yes, you're so welcome, Guy. So in regards to that, right, like my shift has come when I've remembered who I really am. And this is going to sound silly, right? You guys probably saw a post that I did a little while ago with my nails. I'm like exploring, like I want to do my nails, right? Like, and I've always not wanted to because I know they ruin nails. And I've always had good, nice, natural nails. And then the lady's like, oh no, it's fine. Like it makes them stronger. And I'm like, couldn't figure that out because I'm like, my nails are pretty natural, strong. Like, do you know what I mean? And it did, it fucked me, and I could feel it. I'm like, get them fucking off me, like, you know, like I'm all good, and then I'm like, get it off me. And it was just like coming back into like remembering who I was, and I'm so grateful for that experience. Like I loved those nails, but oh my God, I love my natural nails better. And I'm like, that is who I am, like this natural, beautiful person. And I'm like, where is that person gone? Where the fuck? Like, and I realized when we talk about stepping into like integration week and stepping into like, you know, what chakra is becoming most apparent for you, what reality are you birthing? I was like, where's my heart gone? Like, you know, like, yes, I've had all this pain and trauma and stuff, and I'm like, I'm so done from that. Let me breathe for a minute. Let me take a deeper breath, right? My heart. The things that brought me alive, I had stopped doing. I'd gone into this contraction space. And it's interesting, right? Because the things that I loved doing, you know, and this is the biggest part for me, is around follow your heart, follow your passion, do what you love, da da da. And I was doing that. I've done that my entire life since I was 21, even before. I got in a car and I left Perth and I drove across Australia because that's what I wanted to do. Fuck knows where I was going, but I ended up here. I've been here ever since. The point is that I've been in expansion for ages, and then recently building online. Online's I had to be inside a lot. I'm an outdoors person. I surf, I run, I go to the gym, I do all these things, even though the gym's not outside, but you know what I mean. I'm an active person, and I've been like building this online business. And just recently I'm like, where's my heart? I just felt like I'd had this, like, I don't know if it's a shield up. It was more just like I felt caged. My heart had lost its spark, and I was like, what is going on? And this, you guys have seen it. I'm like, right, I'm changing everything. Right? I'm like, right. Like, sometimes I'm like, maybe I shouldn't share that stuff. And I'm like, this is who I am. Share my heart, right? Every part of it, the contraction and the expansion. And in this space, I'm like, oh my God, like, what is it that I'm supposed to do? And this is the thing where I like dropped into the comparisons, and I'm like, but everyone's doing the spiritual stuff now. My job's done. Awaken the consciousness of humanity. Sure, everyone's doing it now. I need to do it. So what the fuck am I supposed to do now, right? Now, I am like such a big person around, you have a unique vibration, you have a unique tone, you have a unique frequency of energy that people are attracted to, and whatever channels through you has your own flavor to it. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. And I had forgotten that because I'm like, who am I? You know, I'd stopped surfing, I'd stopped doing all these things, and I'm like, why did I stop doing things I love? And I was like, well, actually, you became so busy in your business because it's gone boom, that you've actually created the lifestyle that you've been dreaming. You've been dreaming about. And I put it into action. I moved from teaching in person in the expansion, connecting with people, to moving online, which is a very contraction space, to reach more people, to share my message, to share my heart, to share the voice that I have. And this big part of me that you guys would have seen on the base chakra week last week was shifting out the sexual abuse, but it was more when I voiced that to someone, how it got shut down, and that's created my life ever since, right? I shared that. And so that is a big, big space around me coming into a different level of what I have to share is important. I am no longer doing it. And this has been, I'm just like, wow, that makes total sense, but fuck, it didn't make sense before. And I was like, what am I supposed to do, right? That was the birthing. And now I'm like, oh, I gotta know, right? Like when we jump in that really cold water, I'm like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. It makes you breathe again, right? That space has shifted to doing it because what I have to share is important, not to feel good enough, but because my soul is calling me to do it. The energy has shifted, and the reason and everything is being reassessed, not from a logical like, oh my god, I need to check this and why am I doing this and blah blah blah, but everything has been checked from an energetic perspective. Everything has shifted to birth a different way of being in the world. And the thing for me that I'm sharing this for is because I see it a lot of times and I even fucking forgot. That's the whole reason we're doing this. That's the whole reason we're doing this work, to become more conscious, to share our message with the world, to be the person we're meant to be. Like, that is why we're doing it, to shift our vibration. But sometimes the shifting of the vibration physically, oh, yes, uncomfortable. Everything in your reality changes. The person you are changes. The people you hang around change. The people that you choose to interact with changes. The way you show up in the world changes. Your entire reality changes. And not many people are comfortable going through that much change. I feel like I lost my heart following my heart. But now I've come into remembering who I am and what I love doing. I've found my heart on a deeper level. Everything that I love doing is still the same. I love going to the beach. I love surfing. I love sharing my heart with the world. I love doing what I'm doing. I love the spirituality. I love it. That's what I do. But I've shifted into a different vibrational level of feeling it in my soul and what I'm even meant to do. And that has come from a big space around what was I even supposed to do? I don't even know how it dropped in. But you guys have been following me, we would have seen like a few weeks ago, months now, I went down the Gold Coast and saw Justin speak at the local Crystal Talk, and he gave us his first ever release of Archangel Mary. And I'm like, Archangel Mary? I'm like, whatever. Yep, I'll take it anyway. Take a dose of like Archangel Mary, a round of that, and oh my god, like talk about my life changing. That has been the key shift around, oh my goodness, right? Seeing things from a different perspective. It's given me that sense of like, oh my god. And then like this last week of like me questioning what I'm doing. Oh my god, everyone's doing it now, so what am I meant to do? Like, oh my god. And then it's come back in the archangels, and this is where I've just released, I don't know if you've seen yesterday when I released Activate Your Archangel Frequency. Ever since that dropped in for me last Friday, I felt completely different. I was like, oh, that's right. This is what I do. It's a part of what I do. It's a big fucking part of what I do in my every single day reality. I'm like constantly talking to the archangels. The archangels have been the key shifters for me since I was 21. I've built a strong connection with all 15 of them, and then Archangel Mary has just been like tapping me on the shoulder, like, you know, like, and I'm like, release this. I'm like, but it brought me alive again. I was like, oh my god. And the whole thing around, you know, and I got on this live stream, and the first thing I was telling you guys, I was like, what belief systems, what structures, what rules are you imposing on yourself that has only been from your own self, that you have to do this to feel good enough to do this, but underneath you don't even know there's a good enough thread running. I didn't. No wonder I was getting so bogged down in the contraction. I'm like, I'm not supposed to go that way. Now I'm like shifted into like working with the archangels again. I'm like, oh my god, I do this every day. Like, why haven't I shared this on a deeper level with you guys? Like, oh my god, right? My entire life has shifted since I've done this, and like since like that was Friday night, and then I released it to you yesterday, right? Tuesday's tarot. That, like yesterday something was released from my field, and I'll talk about that in a different live stream, that has been constricting me. I would say since November last year, but when I really feel into it, probably since a day it was 4 and 5, so what's that, maybe 2014, about 2014. And I was like, well, talk about the archangel shift. Right? So, oh my goodness, like so I'm really, number one, excited, and I'll check these comments in a minute. Let me share this with you guys now. If you haven't seen it, right? This activate your archangel frequency. A lot of you guys have got my archangel. My phone's really hot. That one's probably really hot too. Sitting in the sun with the daisies. You guys have got my archangel attunement, right? And it's something that you can't purchase separate on my website. So it's like exclusive, but this 21-day activate your archangel frequency is going in each archangel specific days. And then Archangel Mary, I'm like working with Archangel Mary. I'm like, the energy is so strong from Archangel Mary. It makes me want to cry every time I tune into her, because it's just like this, it is this mother frequency. She's not somebody that I've worked with closely before taking her, and it's just totally shifted my vibration. I'm being guided to work with her, bringing the archangels to you, but in the activate your archangel frequency, like there'll be Mother Mary archangel activations like that towards Archangel Mary. That it is totally different energy. It is just like this space around, like it has been the doorway to me healing the deepest, darkest trauma that I didn't even know was sitting there. Not the sexual abuse, but the deflection of not having my voice heard, and so shutting down. And that's why I've been affected by everyone else's comments. That's why I get knocked around by everyone else's stuff, because of that incident where I was deflected and shut down. So every time someone says something, I get so triggered. I get so like, I shut down, and now I know why. And it came from Archangel Mary being able to hold that space in that attunement. So I'm really excited to bring this to you guys, to share that, to have that, to take you through like 21 days of deep frequency shift. And I just want to point out that this is not for you, like if you're not ready to shift out of the negative space. Like this has to be a conscious choice of you choosing the light every single day. And this is where, when the archangels dropped in, I was just like, oh my God, of course, right? It's like, yes, it's like being in the darkness, focusing on shifting out that darkness and trauma, but not sitting in it for too long, which I feel like is something that maybe I did without consciously being aware, but I also forgot and lost my heart within that space. Do you know what I mean? So it's been a huge shift for me. So I'm just sharing that in there. So how much is the course? I just saw your message, your comment come up. Mary Magdalene, no, Mother Mary. So Mother Mary, you know, like Jesus, Mother Mary, right? So Mother Mary has ascended to becoming an archangel now. Like, you know, and when I first heard that, I'm like, whatever, okay, I'm open to this, but whatever. Even Justin said this. He's like, you know, even when I had it, like gave the bottle, like it was a gift, and I'm like, I don't want to fucking take this. Like I didn't, like, and that was my reaction. You asked Jade, I'm like, I didn't want to fucking take it, but I took it with so much resistance, and I'm like, thank fuck I did, because it's like, it's totally shifted me, right? So this is, yeah, Archangel Mary, not Mary Magdalene. This is Mother Mary has shifted into an archangel. And so that made, I was just like, oh my God. So, and how much is the course? So I actually dropped the price. I released it yesterday, and then I was like, oh my God, I need to drop the price. So there's a payment plan. There's $39 over 2 months, or $77 in full, I think. Double check on the link. I changed the price, and that's now the new price. So it has dropped considerably, because I'm like, again, like I said, this is only if you're ready to shift into the light. This is only if you're ready to actually bring that light and joy back. Like, you know, like we shift out the trauma, we're in that, but then we forget who we are. It's like we like actually processing all the hurt, all the pain, all the shit. It's like we forget, because it's not that we forget what the joy is and we forget who we are. It's that, and I've been sharing this, that sometimes when we're a child and we have to take on these responsibilities to survive, when we wake up to that reality that we've been doing that, and then we're birthing out and shifting like all the crap and trauma and like leaving the darkness behind, the butterfly does not take the cocoon with it when it grows its wings and expands. Like, it doesn't do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, the butterfly leaves the cocoon to go back into the earth, to contract back into itself, right? And be birthed again in manure or something. I don't know, right? So it's like this space around having that sense of like, if you've moved through so much trauma, if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you've done a lot of work and you've shifted a lot, and this is where a lot of people and a lot of light workers and a lot of clients that I work with forget just how massive shifts and how much they've shifted through when you guys start working with me, right? Or even if you're not one-on-one working with me, you're doing the work. Sometimes we forget the shifts we've actually had, right? And the shifts that we've actually had bring us into that space of remembering who we are. And this is a big part where I was like, I don't remember what fun is anymore. And sometimes we don't even know what fun is, because as a child, we never had fun anyway. Like, yeah, maybe like what? I don't know, like what's fun, right? And it's like redefining the light, redefining who you are, coming into a whole new reality of light. Because when we've worked through and shifted out and dropped that cocoon, it's like, well, what do we do now? We're flying and we're like, oh, this is pretty cool, but what the fuck now, right? And so it's like remembering and embodying, and I just keep seeing these like activations of light. Like, this is, if you're sick and tired of being in the dark and you're sick of being like working through the hard trauma and stuff, and you've shifted through a big chunk, especially recently, then this is for you to really activate the light frequency. Each archangel has different areas of life that we work on, and over this 21 days it'll be working through like different archangels on different days. There's a Facebook group, so it is different to the archangel attunement that a lot of you guys have got, because that's like my long meditation is all the archangels in one. This archangel, activate your archangel frequency, is over a 21-day period, and it's specific archangels on each day. These are different meditations, they're different tools that enable you to connect with these. It's not something that even is in Trust Intuition. This is something that only my clients have received, and only some of them have received, because it only calls to certain people about the certain frequencies. And as we're working with this, it's like activating each of those frequencies over the 21 days, plus the Archangel Mary, which I'm not scared of channeling, but it's different. It's a different energy, and I can feel her as I'm talking. I don't know if you guys have felt that as I've been talking, but it's been really strong. I'm like, yep, I can just feel it. Okay, let me check these comments. Okay, remember who we are. All right, they got dropped off the screen. Stop. Come back. Okay, makes so much sense. Yeah, contracting, expansion process, and the intuition that guides you. Yes. Yeah, 100%. All right, let me check here. Okay, last time we talked, we were discussing my potential Reiki business. Now I'm in the process of putting that into action, and then can share my passion with others. Yes, awesome. Awesome. It's all good when it's a dream, but we need to put it into action to then live the dream, right? And sometimes that breaking through the cocoon is really hard, right? But do you give up, or are you ready for your wings to fly and take you? All right, let me check these comments. Yes, I've been so contracted. Yes, and I was guided to work with the archangels in a couple of weeks. Yes, exactly right. Their frequency is becoming strong. And that was the thing where, you know, like as it came through, as it does when I'm falling asleep, or it was just like, this is the, I don't know if it's the answer to the darkness on the planet, but it's time to bring that light frequency back. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially with the fires that have just ripped through so much lungs of the earth. And you know how I said, I'm like, we're learning to breathe in a different way. We're learning to breathe that light, you know, there's breatharians and all of that. It's like, let's switch on and activate that light frequency. Let's be that light frequency, because that is our fuel, that is our food, right? That prana, that vital life force, like that, it's time to bring that back, yeah? So in this Archangel group, right, you'll be sent emails over the 3 weeks, plus there's intuitive live stream channeling in the private Facebook group, which is members only in that group. This is a positive space. This is not bringing in the darkness and sharing that. That's what other groups that I support you with are for. That's what working with one-on-one is for, right? This is purely that light frequency activation in the space, yeah? Now, when you work with the light frequency activation, it will bring up the darkness. Remember, the bandwidth is expanding. On the planet right now, the bandwidth of light and dark frequency is expanding. Like, maybe it used to be here, but right now it's expanding. It's literally expanding, and so there's things that are getting darker and there's things that are getting lighter. Where would you like to be most of the time? Okay, there's a balance, but we can also choose to be in a place longer. Okay, I've worked with her before. How beautiful is the feeling? Yes, yes. Okay, so let me just have a look here. So excited. Yes, I know it's exciting. Yes, can I do this anytime? This will be a life-changing experience. I'm glad you're offering a payment plan. Yes, you can do this anytime. Even though like we start on Monday, and that's when like we'll start doing the frequency activations, you get lifetime access. So you can go through it in your own pace. You can join in on a day and then go and do that frequency and then come back in, like, yeah. But we do start on Monday. Emma says, my Auntie Ma passed away a few months ago. You shift me. Yes, big contraction space. Then brought into light again. Yes, it is a very heart frequency. It's a very, I don't know if forgiving is the right word. It's a very open light frequency that shifts through a ton of darkness in a very short space of time. So yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna love you and leave you before my phone overheats and disappears into the darkness if I'm off. And I love you guys. Please share this if you feel called to and think that this can help somebody. If you're watching on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe. And I shall see you all soon. Have a beautiful day, afternoon or evening, wherever you are in the world. I love you guys.